Chima Naji, a legal practitioner, returns to the studios. But Jiti Ogunye, a legal practitioner as well, joins us now. Thank you for coming on today.
Yes, my pleasure.
Well, looking through all those pictures, because we've also received a number of calls about movement across the country. Our correspondents from Kano and beyond have told us about those who are leaving the state to wherever, including those who are also coming in. So in spite of the preparations that INEC has put in place to enhance the integrity of the process, security agencies have issued several statements saying, go out and vote, security is guaranteed. But all of this movement, what kind of comment or statement does that make with all the preparations that were put in place?
Well, fundamentally, I think that Nigerians have the right to exercise their right to freedom of movement at any point in time, whether an election is coming or not. That said, it would be presumptuous to assume that people are leaving their places of residence ordinarily and going to their states of origin to avoid trouble. There are some people, in my own opinion, among those who are traveling, who originally registered in those states, not in the states where they are residents. And so we can't just assume that those who are traveling for fear of the unknown.
No, but there's a sizable number of those who have spoken to who feel, well, no, I'll just rather just go back there, because while these registrations were going on, you have people, they didn't travel as much to go pick up these PVCs.
You know, I understand that. But I'm saying that we have a country that is very unique in many respects. Even for census, the people who rather go to their states of origin to be counted there than to be counted in places where they reside and where they live. I'm just saying. So we can't discount that possibility. Yes, I agree that the number of people that are living where they reside because of fear of the unknown, but I want to assume that there are some people out there who perhaps registered in their states of origin and they are going there to exercise the franchise. That said, I think that it is for the category of those who live in the place of where they reside ordinarily. I think that that is symptomatic of the troubling signs of the times. The police and the security agencies and politicians can give assurances, but the guns are still booming. And so between the assurances that were given and the reality that people see, there's a great gulf. And so for people who have the right to take independent actions, they can choose to disregard those assurances and say, well, in the final analysis, I'm responsible to myself. And so I will do that which I think is in my own best interest. Therefore, what is important is that when we sign peace accords, we must leave peace, in a manner of speaking. So when the police give assurances that Nigerians should go about their lawful businesses, the police is there to protect us and all that. Nigerians want to see that in certain places, people are not being mowed down like grass. People are not being killed related to electioneering. Now talking about post or pre-election violence that we've seen all over the place. And so, it is not the talk that can give people confidence. Rather, it is the reality that even without any talk, they can feel safe and confident that if they exercise or if they choose to exercise their franchise in where they live ordinarily, nothing untoward will happen to them. And, we come a long way in this country with the litany of election-related violence in the First Republic, in the Second Republic, even in this republic. And so nobody wants to be caught napping. For those people, we can't blame them too much. But all we can say on a platform like this is that we should have faith. I have faith.
And in this process or system?
In the possibility that we won't have violence.
At what stage? During the elections or after?
During the election. Well, we've already recorded violence before the election, but during the election, I have faith that given the, not the assurances now, given what we've seen, given the fact that security agencies are going to be deployed and that they're going to do what is right by Nigerians, the election will be conducted without violence.
Let's look at the issue of the security agencies being deployed. How would you think it will best be achieved? I mean, yes, the courts have said the military should not be a part of an electioneering process in whatever form. But do we have enough personnel to cover the entire nation? Vis-a-vis the pockets of elections I've held where thousands of policemen and security operatives are deployed to the various states for these elections. How would it work out? How do you think it will work out?
Well, you know, in defiance of what the court has said, the military has been deployed anyway. We've seen them all over the place.
Not to the polling units.
But they've been deployed anyway, not to the polling units, all over the place. And I think that a dichotomy is being drawn between legality and exigency for those who think that, well, you need the military to be out there to ensure that they beef up security and they provide further security, apart from what the police are able to do. But my take is that, you know, election is a peculiar exercise in the sense that already people are under restrictions, meaning that you can't travel the way you like, vehicles are not allowed to move about. So people are grounded, in a manner of speaking. And I'm not a security expert. I know that because of that situation, it should be a lot easier, I want to assume, to map out security strategies and say, this is how we want to do this. Because people are in known places. You're not going to go to the highway and say that, yes, some people are coming from to invade. You know, people are in their dwellings. People are in the cities. They are in the villages. They want to cast the ballot, right? And so security agencies should be able to do what they need to do. More so when now we're having a hybrid force, so to speak. The Civil Defense Force Corps is mobilized. The police are mobilized. The military is being deployed. The DSSS, and so on and so forth. And so if you aggregate the numbers of these security agencies, you have a great number. And for me, they are sufficient to do the job.
Mr. Naji, let me speak about maintaining the discussion on the integrity of the process. Well, yes, a lot of people have spoken about the need for the process to be seen as free, fair, and credible. Then the question pops up that who determines if it's free, fair, and credible? Because for those who religiously, for want of words, now listen to their leaders who will tell you, well, this is the way it turns out, they believe them. Because electorates, supporters, they listen to their leaders religiously. So if it turns out, assuming that a candidate loses an election, for want of, maybe he feels hard done by and tells his supporters, no, this wasn't free and fair because so many people are sore losers, and then they hit the streets reacting to all of those. So is that likely going to happen, given the fact that we've deployed technology and they expect that everybody should see how the process turns out, irrespective of what any other person, maybe a third party, says or not?
The integrity of the process, like I alluded to in the previous session, starts with the umpire. If the umpire is honest and along the line makes mistake, it's pardonable. than when there is a spirited effort to scuttle the process, even by the umpire. It makes the two camps mutually suspicious of each other. Okay, it makes the camps, because we are saying two camps as if it is only, there are many other parties, you know, than the most visible, the ones that appear most visible. In the process of engineering integrity, things must be done in the open. There must be a manifest display of knowledge of the issues involved, properly articulated by the umpire, and capable of foreseeing possibilities of setting roadblocks and taking care of them, at least theoretically. So that at each point when you meet the roadblock, because if you have an idea there's a roadblock at Shagam, you ask how they normally pass it. But if you did not foresee that possibility, when you get there, you are taken by surprise, and you could be devastated and your movement truncated. So the umpire is the first stage of definition of integrity. And that integrity, like I said, Jega himself was nominated on the basis of the perceived integrity of his person in the engineering of the affairs of a union that he managed, the ASU of those days. So that expectation is that he will do all that is possible and necessary in the circumstance to make the election credible. He's also a professor of political science. So he has a lot of constituencies that he must not fail to satisfy.
Okay.
Otherwise, we are going to have problem with people from the civil society coming to say that they are better than the politicians. If you allow the politicians to buy you up or influence you in any manner whatsoever, or exploit your ignorance or unpreparedness in any manner whatsoever, by commission or omission, as the lawyers will say, you have given yourself out.
Right.
And the integrity of the process, because the politicians are always looking for the ways to take advantage.